podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Your favorite band's about to play a sold-out show. You got in.
Over here!
With a friend. And found a spot close enough to see the set list. They're definitely playing your song. When you're with Amex, it's not if it's going to happen, but when. American Express. Don't live life without it.
Man there trying to stop Drogba getting himself into further trouble.
Oh, it's not a bad ball for Pele on the right side. It's Carlos Alberto. And what a great goal that was! Carlos Alberto.
Maradona just walked away from Hoddle then. Cardano, out and Maradona! They're appealing for offside. The ball came back off the foot of Steve Hodge. And Maradona gives Argentina the lead. The England players protesting to the referee.
Ik heb opeens zo'n gevoel dat we in de halve finale gaan komen met het balbezit voor Frank de Boer. Frank de Boer speelt de bal heel goed naar Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp neemt de bal aan. Dennis Bergkamp! Dennis Bergkamp! Dennis Bergkamp! Dennis Bergkamp! Dennis Bergkamp! Oh! Frank de Boer speelt de bal naar Dennis Bergkamp. Die neemt de bal feilloos aan. En die schiet de bal erin.
So hello and welcome back to the Scoreless Thriller podcast. I'm your host Alex. It's been a while, but I'm delighted to be joined again by Scottish Alex again. How are you doing?
Yeah, good to be back after my quiz win. Back to back.
Back to back yearly champ. And on debut to represent Manchester United, we have Jack. Jack, how are you doing today?
Very good. I didn't realise I was on to represent Man United. I thought I might just be for my just natural wit and charm and football knowledge. I saying it out loud. I realise. Yeah, Man United. Yeah,
something's missing there. Yeah, we're discussing we've just watched the 1999 Champions League final between Manchester United and Bayern Munich because this week is the Champions League final. So we thought we'd look back 22 years now on the classic. Yes, the 22-year anniversary.
Yeah, it's the big one.
But before we sort of go into it deeper, Jack, do you want to sort of present some bona fide sort of Manchester United fan credentials, or speak a little bit about maybe your experiences watching this game the first time?
I'm trying to figure out how deep to go here, but basically until about a year ago, I don't think I missed a Man United game, or if I did, it was because of some sort of like major family bereavement of some kind. But it's in the ever since the Super League happened, I've sort of had like a bit of a mental break with them. I found it sort of a little bit difficult to get the passion back. So watching the game today, I've always found it, like, you know, after the Super League, I've always likened it to sort of like the Wizard of Oz, you know, when they pull back the curtain and you see what's behind the curtain. You see the sort of despicable figure that's lying there, and it's just difficult to sort of get the passion back. But yeah, as I say, watching today was, it did bring back a lot of the old fire.
But do you think if Man United were doing a little bit better, then it would be a bit easier to keep that?
Yeah, for sure. But when Man United first started doing badly, I was turning around to people and saying, I love this, because I've been called a glory hunter all my life. I wanted them to do badly, and I was reveling in the fact that they were doing badly so that I could show how true of a fan I was. But as I say, it's just sort of, and obviously, yeah, it's just been a tough couple of years, I would say. But we'll see. If Erik ten Hag starts winning the Premier League again, then maybe I'll go back and be like, actually, I've decided.
Always loved you, man.
I've decided.
Always
Would you celebrate them winning the Super League in the last minute against Bayern Munich? That's the real
Now you come to mention it. That is glory, and I do hunt it.
Did you see the thing at the weekend with the Real Madrid fans booing the Champions League anthem?
And the Liverpool fans.
Yeah, well, it makes a bit more sense with the Liverpool fans sort of fighting for their lives from being pepper sprayed by the French police.
Yeah,
whereas the Real Madrid fans was to do with them wanting to join the Super League, I guess.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I think it's just because UEFA is just an appalling organisation and they deserve to be booed at every opportunity.
Yeah, now is not the time to dive deep into...
Join us next week.
2-hour special on UEFA. But before we sort of dig deep into the game, I prepared a little bit of a quiz. It's loosely based on the class of 1992.
Oh, you're joking.
Excellent.
So I'm going to give you a piece of paper, And if you've got a pen each.
I'm prepared. You don't even have to give it to me. You just have to give it to Alex, who supposedly knows how this is done. Scottish Alex. Doesn't even have paper.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. There are about 8 questions, I think.
What? This is comprehensive exam.
I'm ready.
All right,
game face.
Question number 1. Which one of these has not launched a hotel? Ryan Giggs, David Beckham, or Gary Neville? And you get a bonus point for naming the hotel.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Has not launched a hotel.
Yeah, has not launched a hotel.
How do we get a point for...
Don't worry about it, Alex. You'll find out when you read out my answers.
If you name one of the hotels, that's...
Okay.
You ready for question number 2?
Yep.
Which is, for some reason, marked question number 1 in my notes.
Mm-hmm.
Which of these has never played at a World Cup finals for England? Nicky Butt, Paul Scholes, or Phil Neville? I love how I phrase this as if they could still play at a World Cup for England.
I had...
Which again?
Butt, Scholes, or Phil Neville?
I had... I had 2 action heroes growing up, and
Phil and Gary.
I think 2 of them were the England. They had the England shirts on. I think 2 of them were the options in this. So if I get this one wrong, I'm really starting to doubt my memory even more than I'm doing.
Question number 3. Which player has played at a club furthest from Manchester? Nicky Butt, David Beckham, or Phil Neville? This is a great question.
Do we get to explain our answers?
Yeah, if you want.
Afterwards.
If you feel comfortable enough to.
I think I feel comfortable.
Oh, one of them's probably played in Australia, right?
Ooh.
Oh.
It's a trick question.
Welcome to the podcast, Shields.
This is, well...
Our quiz champ.
I know Alex's quizzes.
All right. Question number 4. Who has scored the most league goals for Manchester United? Ryan Giggs, David Beckham, or Paul Scholes? Question number 5. Who did Pelé say was the best player in England's 2002 World Cup squad? Nicky Butt, Paul Scholes, or Ryan Giggs?
Is Nicky Butt like gonna get? Is he an option in every single quiz that you've ever done? I think he's been an option in every single one. I'm really enjoying it.
It's the class of '92 quiz. It's not the biggest class in the world.
Well, when's Robbie Savage coming in? It's a question I ask a lot.
There's not any Robbie Savage questions, I'm afraid.
Damn it.
Missing out on Robbie Savage.
You've got time to write some more.
Question number 6. What hazing tactic did Peter Schmeichel use against apprentices? A. Make them clean his car with a toothbrush. B. Make them wade into the river to retrieve inadequately pumped up footballs. C. Would stick his gum in their hair. Or D. They had to clean his boots with just their hands.
Is Peter Schmeichel a dick? Is this going to be the revelation of the podcast? Also, I can tell you really enjoyed writing those fake answers because there were 4 of them. Couldn't get out Robbie Savage, but you could do the other one.
Question number 7, right?
Yep.
7.
You're on top of things.
Paul Scholes shocked people by doing what on Instagram earlier this year?
Oh.
No, I don't even need the answers.
A. Picking his nose on camera.
Oh, embarrassing.
B. Biting his daughter's toenails off. C. Eating 4 Big Macs in a row. Or D. Arm wrestling David Beckham and losing.
That wouldn't be shocking.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I just about managed to get the image out of my head. Oh, and you brought it all back.
All right, the last question. Nicky Butt once angered Peter Schmeichel so much that he chased him around the training pitch for hours. What did he do?
Who?
Nicky Butt.
Okay.
A. Burnt Peter Schmeichel's penis. B. Took a shit in Peter Schmeichel's car. C. Put Sweden flags all around his locker.
Oh.
Or D. Chucked his designer shoes into the river.
River
How many
themes.
rivers are just going around Carrington training ground? Is it just sort of? Is it just surrounded by tributaries?
It's a moat. It's not a moat.
It's a moat, the Carrington moat. Well, I'm gonna bank on the fact that Peter Schmeichel, unbeknownst to me, is a dick. So I'm gonna go for the most dickish one, the one that you should.
All right, how confident are we?
I'm very confident.
I'm not confident at all, to be honest.
Now I'm worried you're gonna beat me.
I do have a record. We'll see.
Record to defend. All right, we'll start with the first question. Who has not launched a hotel? We'll start with you, Jack.
David Beckham.
Do you have the correct?
I have the correct one. I believe it's called the Football Hotel, and it's outside Old Trafford.
I'm not going to give it to you. It's called Hotel Football.
I've got that. I've got it.
No. You're not going to give that to me, even though I've got the exact components in. Unbelievable.
Exactly.
I have.
Of course, Alex wins every time.
I have Hotel Football written down here. You didn't even let me answer there, Alex. But I said gigs, so.
So it's 1-1.
Yeah, it's 1-1.
It's 1-1.
Unbelievable. I also have Hotel Football written down, just not necessarily in the right order.
What did you write down?
Football Hotel.
No, you wrote like,
I'm dyslexic. Do you not know? I'm very severely dyslexic.
Like the football, which is known as a hotel or something.
Are you telling me that my answer was so ludicrously out of the way? Football Hotel. What was that? What could that even be? It's Hotel Football.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
It's a fix.
1-1.
1-1.
All right, 1-1. All right, who has never played at a World Cup finals for England? Nicky Butt, Paul Scholes, or Phil Neville?
Shields?
It's Neville, but, and I'm going to be wrong. Logically, I think it's Phil Neville, but I put but.
I used logic and I went for Phil Neville.
The correct answer is Nicky Butt.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
I am shell-shocked. Well, you know what? We've just watched an incredible comeback, and I think you're about to watch another one. Come on, Jack.
All right, Jack, start with you. Which player has been at a club furthest from Manchester?
I did go for the A-League, the Australian League, and I do...
Oh, shit, sorry, I misread the answers. The, Can we rewind it?
No, this is...
No,
this
keep
is
it rolling.
Go on, what? I bet I still got the right answer.
Did I say Phil Neville for the last question?
No, you said but.
No, it's Phil Neville's correct.
Oh! Yes. It's gone to VAR.
It's gone to VAR. Oh. It's 2-1. Okay, yeah, you might want to do a clean cut of that.
All right. Moving swiftly on to the next question.
So I think I know the answer to number 3 now.
Which player has been at a club furthest from Manchester? Jack?
But A-League.
Now, did you write down but?
I wrote down but A-League.
Show us.
Oh, you don't...
What about you?
I wrote but.
But played for Hong Kong-based club South China, which at nearly 6,000 miles from Manchester is further than David Beckham in LA.
Yes.
Everton is significantly closer.
Can I just say, I did say a league. I didn't specify which league. Hong Kong it is.
Yeah.
Extra point? I'll put it in the margins. I'll just put it in brackets.
All right. Alex, who has scored the most league goals for Manchester United? Giggs, Beckham, or Scholes?
I think it's Giggs, but it's a toss-up between Giggs and Scholes. But Giggs. I'm going with Giggs.
I've also gone for Giggs.
David Beckham scored 61 goals for Manchester United, league goals. Paul Scholes scored 107 league goals for Manchester United.
I think Giggs got 130.
Ryan Giggs scored 114 goals for Manchester United.
So Giggs.
Ryan Giggs is the correct answer.
There we go.
Smashing.
So how are the scores at the moment?
I'm currently on 100%. Thank you.
No, you're not.
I am, because Phil Neville was proved to be right.
What about Hotel Football?
Yeah, you got Hotel Football wrong.
Well, that's just an extra point, isn't it? I could be 120 if I wasn't had such a pedantic judge.
All right, question number 5. Who did Pele say was the best player in England's 2002 World Cup squad? Butt, Scholes, or Ryan Giggs?
I mean, I don't know if Pele said this, but it's the whole Schools of England situation where Scholes is regarded as the greatest player of all time by all non-English legends of the game. So I've gone with Scholes.
Yeah, your logic is much better than mine. I just thought it'd be funny if he said Giggs, so I put down Giggs.
You're both wrong. The correct answer is Nicky Butt.
What?
Oh dear. Was Pele unwell at this point? Was he feverish?
What?
I feel like we should just have a quiz one day, which is just like Pele quote.
I always
Things Pele
thought-
says.
In my head, he was quite sort of like profound and prophetic.
No. Pele will say whatever you want him to say if you give him a.
Oh, this is
It's that butt dollar. It's big nowadays.
Big bosses.
And we're supposed to trust this man with his goals records.
Yeah, he scored
84 goals against the Hungarian army.
Not the most reliable source, I'll say.
Oh dear.
All right, we're on to Peter Schmeichel now. What was the hazing tactic he would use, Alex?
I've gone for football in the river, collecting the deflated footballs in the river.
I went for A, whichever one that was.
Cleaned his car with a toothbrush.
Yeah, I went for that.
Correct answer was B. Wade into the river to retrieve the football.
There we go.
I'm on a losing streak. 2 in a row now. Damn.
I think you both got this one right, but what did Paul Scholes do on Instagram?
Chewed on some digits, didn't he?
Yeah.
Naughty boy.
Can't unsee that.
Right. It wasn't his Instagram though. It was his daughter.
Yeah,
Oh, come on.
I would have a strong. Actually, would I have a strong word? I'd have a strong word, but before that, I would never put her toes in my mouth. So, I think maybe
strong word with yourself.
We just have a different set
Value
of morals.
system.
Yeah.
What was it with these ex-United pros with Patrice Evra and the raw chicken incident?
That's fairly harmless.
Yeah, in comparison to the toenails, yeah.
So yeah, exactly. At least, yeah, grim.
All right, last question. How are we doing for scores?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, I've got 5 as well.
Oh my goodness! It all comes down to the last question.
Oh,
Couldn't have set it up. All right.
could it be a dream debut?
Nicky Butt angered Peter Schmeichel so much that he chased him around the training pitch for hours. What did he do?
I think I got this one wrong. I went for the Swedish flags. I don't think that's a sophisticated enough joke. I don't think it would be done.
I've gone with A. It was the burning incident.
I will read the story to you.
Oh, God.
Butt explained, there was a huge tea urn on the treatment table in the middle of the room, so I got a hot cup of tea and sat under the table. Peter Schmeichel came out of the shower completely naked and stood with his backside inches from the bed. I thought it would be funny to take the hot teaspoon out of my tea and put it close to his backside to see if he noticed. Though it went wrong, as Butt added, unfortunately, at that very moment, he suddenly turned around and before I could move my hand, the scalding hot spoon came into contact with the end of his manhood. I never meant to do it, but it burned him on the most painful part imaginable. You've never heard a scream like it. While the other players were falling about laughing, Peter chased me out of the room and all around the training ground for what felt like hours. Thankfully, he never caught me, and to be honest, I'm still running from him now. Schmeichel himself seemed reluctant to talk about this incident in 2003, simply telling 442, whatever happens in the dressing room should stay there.
Well, I should have had a word with Nicky Butt, who just told everyone exactly what happened in the changing room in a very strange manner that sounds like it was written by about 4 journalists. I don't believe Nicky Butt ever used the word manhood. That is definitely what journalists used to do to put it in.
Unmentionables.
Oh mate, but I've been humbled there.
You did very well, but you just fell short of the final hurdle.
To be honest, I felt like I needed to do the mind games to beat you.
Well, it is, to be honest. It's nothing about the knowledge. It's all about reading Alex and understanding his questions.
The glint in his eye. Next time.
All right, Jack, I have a consolation prize for you.
Okay.
Have you ever dreamed about which member of the class of 1992 you are most like?
It's funny you should mention that, because no, I've never done that.
Well, now is the time to play.
Okay.
Which member of the class of 92 are you?
Wow, the production levels are just like mind-blowing. I'm loving this.
Are you ready for your first question?
Oh, I'm born ready, I think.
Okay. The first question is...
Just a bit.
Do you consider your brother's wife fair game? Yes or no?
My brother's wife. Well, she'd be 19, and that's significantly younger than me, so no. Officially no.
All right. Question number 2. Do you care about your appearance?
No. I don't. I can't. No. I've always said that my looks have been wasted on me. If I gave just even like 10 minutes of effort every morning.
Okay, so that's a no for that.
I could go on.
Next, yeah. Please don't. Please don't. All right, next question. Glass half full or glass half empty?
Glass half empty. The glass is empty.
You are most like Paul Scholes.
Great.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent. So someone get me their daughter's toes.
Do you want to know what would have happened if you said yes to your appearance?
I think I would have gone for DB, wouldn't I?
No, you would. The next question would have been: do you love the sound of your own voice?
Oh, and the answer, I think the listeners will know what the answer to that one is.
Okay. Then the next question was: do you ever have something interesting to say?
And the listeners will know what answer that is as well.
Okay. No is Phil Neville.
Brilliant. That's pretty close. Yeah. Also, they said I didn't care about my looks, and then explained about my looks.
Well, you did care quite a lot about your looks.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on from these quizzes and begin to discuss the game. So we should probably briefly talk a little bit about Man United's route to the final, which included the victories against Inter and Juventus in the quarterfinals and semi-final. It was actually the first time there'd been a final in 7 years, which hadn't included a Italian team, which kind of shows how dominant the Italian teams were at this stage in the 90s.
Yeah. The whole season was unbelievable, like in terms of exciting games. And this isn't just in the Champions League, this is in the FA Cup and the Premier League. But yeah, especially in the Champions League. The game that really sticks out for me is Juventus away. Is that a semi-final?
Yeah.
Yeah, when Inzaghi scored really early on, and we drew 1-1 in the first leg. Inzaghi had scored, and I remember looking
2-0 up.
2-0 up, yeah. And Schmeichel made a bit of a hash of something, and I just remember looking at my dad, and he just shook his head at me, and I was like, okay, fine, we're going to have to settle in for that. And it was just brilliant. That Keane header.
Yeah. And I think he gets the yellow card like a couple of minutes later, so he's gonna miss the final, and he continues to absolutely dominate.
Just unbelievable. That Keane header. Keane headed the ball in there, and it was against the run of play. Keane headed the ball harder than I could kick it if he gave me 105 turns at it.
Yeah, but then in the final, so Man United were missing both Scholes and Keane. So then the centre midfield, you can tell is kind of it's changed into to have Butt and Beckham in the middle, and then Giggs on the right wing. But I mean, in the first half, I felt Man United were pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, historically, it's regarded as Man United getting absolutely dominated the whole way through. But I thought it seemed pretty even, apart from obviously the goal, which Clive gets all wrong.
Deflected it in.
Yeah.
It looked like it was deflected.
Honestly, like 10 minutes after the goal, he's still explaining himself.
Yeah, the goal. Yeah, he's still going on about how trying to explain is. So who is the shot? Is it
Basler?
Basler has the shot, and it kind of there's two Munich players sort of in front, which kind of like are trying to block Schmeichel's vision.
Yeah,
and then it sort of flies into the side of the net that Schmeichel is on. But then Tydesley just presumes that it must have been a deflection for it to beat.
It needed a deflection and all this stuff. Yeah, but I agree. But also Schmeichel, obviously, it's obvious to look at it. Like, he makes a huge mistake. He goes to his right. Just if Barca managed to get it up and over the wall and into that corner, then that's his business. Schmeichel should have just stayed. And as I think when we watched it in the game, Scottish Alex was saying about how it bounced before it went in. It really wasn't. It was a tame shot.
Yeah.
But I also agree. I agree though that I was really. I said to you guys yesterday, I was like, it's going to be interesting watching Manchester United be good again. And then I sort of corrected myself. I was like, well, actually, they won't be good because this was a terrible game. And I was surprised by how Man United were the better team in the first half, no doubt. No doubt. And I would also argue in the second half, although Bayern had some big chances, but
yeah, I mean, in the first half, for stats wise, I mean, they have
60% possession.
Yeah, 55% possession, and I mean, they have more shots on target, and I feel like they definitely 6 corners to one corner for Bayern Munich,
Who got 6?
Man United.
Man United, yeah.
So I mean, like they definitely. I think after the goal goes in, they sort of seem to kind of dominate quite a bit. But then they don't really. There's not really that many chances, though.
No, but it's also how many chances are there ever in a Champions League final? They're always kind of slightly cagey affairs. Although this one, I don't think particularly can be classed as that. I don't know. Beckham was interesting. It was kind of weird to see him in the centre mid, and I thought he was doing really badly. But then one thing that we all sort of clocked onto is that possession. Having watched the Liverpool Real Madrid final and seeing about how important possession was for Liverpool, and obviously seeing how Man City are playing and most top teams are playing and caring about possession, neither team gave a shit, did they, about possession? They were it was long ball central. Yeah. And so when Beckham was sort of spraying these passes out and making sort of 50% of them, initially as a modern viewer, you're like, oh, that's inaccurate. And then you sort of read the game and see that actually he was, I think he was probably United's best player.
Yeah, I mean, you see that the keeper would take it, and like there would be the short pass on, and it's just like, no, Oliver Kahn's going to pump it like halfway into
drop kicks every time. Yeah, both keepers.
Huge boots.
Yeah,
launching
it forwards.
Do you think like Premier League keepers can kick it that far these days? Because
I think Ederson has the record for the longest kick, right?
Oh, really?
I think so. The Guinness Book of World Records, he has the record for the longest.
What about when Tim Howard scored the goal?
Wind assisted.
Yeah, but surely Wind isn't assisted into the Guinness Book of Records.
For but not in game. It wasn't measured in game.
Was he trying for it?
Yeah, exactly. He was going for it. Yeah.
Sort of halftime show. FA Cup final.
They brought him out.
Get the keepers out.
Kick it into the shed. You win the garden shed.
That would be amazing. Sort of skills challenge NFL style. Just goalkeeper, just kick it as far as you can.
No, but yeah, I mean, it was those drop kicks and stuff. They had slightly less poise, as you see now with the distribution at the back.
I did love Clive Tydesley's line about Jaap, Stam, and Jancker could be brothers. Is it just because they're both bald?
Two ball blokes. That's literally it.
What about Kalina as well? Yeah. Just could be triplets.
Yeah. There's loads of them in the stadium. Family affair.
Yeah, his commentary is very.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that his commentary was rubbish because he had the best 3 minutes of commentary that have ever happened, or the best.
No, I wouldn't describe it. It's just very like colourful or like off.
Yeah, I think he got caught up in the moment because he's a Man United fan. And you could sort of see it was agonising. The nerves.
Do you have any other great notes on the first half? I have one that maybe they could have had a penalty with Ziegler, but then they didn't really appeal for it.
I thought it was a penalty.
There wasn't even a replay of it, actually. I mean, in the footage we were watching, it looked like a stonewall.
It did, yeah. It became one of our, I think it was Blomqvist or someone, just flew into the back of the player, the Bayern Munich player, and the Bayern Munich player did what every player did, which was probably the biggest shock. Again, watching it from a modern perspective, which was just get up. He just got up and just carried on playing for the ball, no arguing, nothing. And you just think nowadays that was a huge difference.
Game's gone, Jack.
Game's gone. It's not the game I fell in love with. They just didn't. There wasn't. I think I remember Cole arguing with the decision once, and that was it. Really.
Yeah, you don't argue with Kalina. I think was the.
I just think they just didn't argue in general. I just think it wasn't really in the game at that point.
Come on. There's those famous images of like all the Man United players surrounding the referee for like a penalty game.
A bit later though, wasn't it?
No, Keane was involved. I think.
Yeah, Keane knocked about until about 2004. Game went after 1999.
There's just like
it's the end of football.
ADBC of 1999 Champions League final. Also, was it Atkinson or was it Tydesley talking about Basler making a record with a porn star or something?
Yeah, apparently that was the colour commentary. That was Tydesley. Yeah, that was Basler was, what was it? Made a record with a pornographic actress,
and he got dropped for it or something. He got. Extracurricular activities.
Must have been a really bad record.
Pittsville wasn't a fan of the music.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any?
I thought, just the Giggs had an appalling half. I thought the ref didn't really put a foot wrong other than that penalty, but it's also weird when it would have been weird for him to give the penalty when no one was appealing for it. You know, it was, and that's about it, really. Yeah, it was just I was very surprised by how well United did and how kind of dominant they were.
Yeah, they were after the goal. They were.
Yeah, it was again. Yeah, as Scottish Alex said, you were expecting United to get absolutely battered, and they just didn't.
Mm-hmm. Also, I was impressed by Gary Neville's long throw. Not even a run up, and it was cannoned.
Yeah, came out of nowhere. He caused a couple of chances. That.
Okay, into the second half. I have in my notes 55. Blomqvist had a pretty big chance.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, was it swung in from the right hand side and he gets? Yeah,
should have scored.
I don't know, like.
I'd have scored.
Would you? Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
Time and space.
On the volley.
Would have rolled it into the net with your head.
Yeah, I mean,
you didn't sound like.
I might have taken a touch actually.
Don't sound like Blomqvist's biggest fan, Jack.
I was very surprised that he started the game. I did not remember that Blomqvist. I sort of had him.
Thought Alex Ferguson would have changed his mind by now, or
I think. Yeah, I just thought, in the last 22 years, just stick with Blomqvist.
I guess he didn't really have many other options, though. I guess
except for Solskjaer and Sheringham, who just won Man of the Match in the FA Cup final the week before. I suppose it was fatigue.
But they don't play left midfield.
Well, Sheringham came on for Blomqvist. But that would have been starting.
Yeah.
He wanted to start off at 4-4-2.
But I think they made like 6 changes from I think he rested a lot of players for the cup final. Yeah. Apparently, it was a bit of a walk in the park against
Newcastle. Yeah, it was a bit. But imagine that though, having a cup final and making 6 changes for your next game, which is a cup final. What a squad!
Do you have any further notes around that period before the hour mark? Something.
Not
else
for
that
me.
stuck out. I have 71. There was 5 passes in a row, which was.
We all just went, "Oh, look at that!" Bayern Munich came up from the halfway line, wasn't it?
Is this when they hit the post, or was that a bit later?
That was a bit later. This was the one where they had that. They just had like 5 one-touch passes.
Like
yeah, and he shoots from range.
He shoots from range.
Yeah, to be honest, that's a kind of common theme in this game. Was just Bayern were shooting from range all the time. Any side of goal, they were just hitting it. Yeah. I think, was it Basler shot from about the halfway line at one point, trying to lob Schmeichel.
They were missing...
that was actually one of their best long-range
shots.
I'd say that was the one that caused the most sort of... Otherwise, it was... Yeah, I remember that was that... Who's that really old guy? But Mateus or whatever. He ran from halfway and got to the really old guy, the 38-year-old.
Right, yeah.
And he...
Was it Mateus, yeah.
And he ran from the halfway line, got to about the 30 yards away from goal and went, "Fuck this, not having that again." Shot. And then Ron Atkinson talked about how if he was about 20 years younger, he might have got it on target.
I think they were missing their Brazilian striker Elber, who was suspended as well.
R.I.P. Well, we had United was missing Scholes and Keane, and based on what
didn't stop them.
Based on what I just watched, if Keane and Scholes are in the midfield, it's
5-0.
5-0.
6.
It's probably pushing 7.
Do you think this United team beats the current Man United team?
On any day, occasion, week, weather system, altitude, you could give them. They'd probably beat them now.
Okay.
They'd probably beat them now, just for having it. They've just got the mental fortitude and just like an ability to not be appalling.
You don't look convinced.
And a good manager.
I mean, they're beating them now, but get Scholes back in.
Scholesy.
Yeah, Scholesy.
Do you remember when
Scholes and butts?
Do you remember when Scholes retired for like 2 years or a year, and then Ferguson went, "Oh, I could really do with the centre midfielder," and Scholes went, "Oh, yeah, all right, I'll go JD Sports and pick up some football boots," and he came on and had like 98% possession, got man of the match.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are class players.
I have this thing that I feel like Paul Scholes is a little like so underrated. He's overrated. Just like everyone, like every sentence begins with how underrated he was, that he just kind of has become slightly overrated.
Yeah. I think he's just rated.
Rated well.
Adequately.
As an even rating system.
Yeah, as Scottish Alex said in the... Can I call you Scottish Alex?
Yeah, go for it.
Because that was how he was introduced. It's not what I call you in day-to-day life. But as Shield said in the quiz, every single like foreign player was talking about how much they love Scholes. And yeah, I think if it had played.
Yeah, but I mean, so back to the match.
Yeah, back to the players on the fucking pitch. Yeah, correct.
All right. Like at this stage, I don't think Man United are creating a lot of chances, and you definitely don't think that they're about to score or anything. Like I mean, and then in the 80th, there's the chip by School over Schmeichel, which hits the post.
Do you know what? It was delectable. That's what I'm going to go for. That chip. It was beautiful.
Does Clive say something again? Like, you know,
he calls it delicious.
No,
right?
but he says something afterwards about like, oh, that like maybe maybe it's not over for Man United or something, or like they do stand a chance.
Yeah,
it's just something.
It's sort of, it had like he was suggesting it might have a galvanizing effect.
Yeah.
Which I don't really know. I don't know. I feel like whenever that happens to me when I play football, I always get the willies in me. I'm like, oh fuck, that was close.
Exactly. Yeah.
Tighten up. But then again, famously, I don't have the attitude of Champions League winners.
No.
Yeah, I mean, you can swing that either way, really. Like Bayern could see that as that, you know, the goal's coming, or it's not our day. Yeah, I mean, you can spin it.
But you could say that, like, because you could see, you know, when it's going over Schmeichel's head, like the Man United players might be thinking, okay, now it's gone, it's over. But then you see it come back off the post, it's like, oh, it's still in this.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You can see Stam's face when that happens. His body language stops with the look of a defender that's watching a ball trundling over the line, and then when it hits the post, you sort of see him go, oh, right. But then again, I also remember in the 1999 semi-final FA Cup, Andy Gray delightedly was saying, because Man United had missed loads of chances and stuff, and he went, I'm telling you, I told you half an hour ago, this is Liverpool's day. And that's become a really famous thing, because then Man United scored twice in the last few dying moments of the game, so bit of a theme.
Yeah, and then big Jancker has a bicycle kick as well off the crossbar.
Yeah. Shields, you reckon he could have done better there?
Well, I mean,
I didn't say that. Just like, I wasn't going to put you on the mic. Shields was just sort of like, I thought you did all right, but I guess
Shields calls out Jancker.
It was his talk sport. It was a disgrace.
It's an absolute. What's he doing? Not scoring there? How much is he getting paid?
Farmers League, right?
My grandmother.
Nah, maybe he doesn't realise how much time he's got, but I think,
Did you notice he tries the sort of Giroud's sort of scorpion kick on the rebound, and it's incredibly ungraceful.
Yeah, especially in slow motion.
And then, so we're coming up to like the 90th minute. I think Man United do, to be fair, start building quite a bit of pressure in the last couple of minutes, and I think you can kind of tell that Munich are kind of dead on their feet a bit. And also, by this stage, they'd taken off Lothar Matthäus to...
I think the person most grateful for that looked like Lothar Matthäus. He looked pretty shattered. But they also took off Basler.
Do you think that was the key, Jack?
No, but I just think it's like, when would you take off your best player? I suppose if they dropped him halfway through the season, I always remembered that them taking off Basler was like, in my head, I've remembered that as being they were celebrating victory. They were sort of like, the game is over and we'll take off our best player, because with extra, if you realise that you've got extra time coming, you don't take off a sort of that mercurial creative talent. I don't know. I think they were just...
Yeah, but I think a lot of people would say that if it increases your chances of winning the game in the 90 if you have someone else on who's going to fresh point. Legs and track back and get in.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the most jarring things watching that, was just the contrast from watching football today, where teams have this game management to see games out. Like watching the Champions League final with Liverpool and Real Madrid last weekend. And watching that game and thinking, there's no way Real Madrid are just going to see this out.
Yeah, I thought, like, the moment Real Madrid scored, I think like one of the people that we were sitting with said, "Oh, now it's going to be a game on." I was like, "No, it's not." Like, now it's going to be even worse. It's over now. Like, the ball's going to, like, every foul or throw in is going to be like 2 minutes off the clock. They'll just keep possession, force Liverpool in to make it a foul, and then whereas Bayern were just like, they were playing like the last maybe like 5 to 10 minutes, like it was like the last 30 seconds, like everyone back and just like pump it forward in a way.
There wasn't. You're spot on. There just wasn't the consideration that about it. I remember that Man United fans started whistling Oliver Kahn when he took a goal kick at one point with 15 minutes to go. And it didn't even take that long. He didn't do that thing. Yeah. Nowadays, you'd have both boots kicked against the post. There was none of that. He just
move it from one side to the other.
Yeah, exactly. I don't like this space. Or whatever.
Yeah. Pretend that he's going to take it short, and then you do the arm thing before.
It's true. These are all like sort of like standard tactics that we've come to expect.
And these are things that people do at like 7-a-side level, right? Like this is not like
you see people. You're talking about yourself, Alex.
Yeah. Slow jog to get the ball.
Yeah, king of the shit house.
These losers in 7-a-sides, whoever they are.
But it was it was jarring. Is it? Isn't it? It was just not what you expect, and good for United.
Yeah, I do remember Atkinson says in like the 88th minute that if they equalise, they will go on to win, which is a big shout for a team which is about to go into injury time and still 1-0 down.
Yeah, but he's qualified it there completely. If you equalise, which of the chances of that happening are very small. It sounds. I think everything sounds prophetic when you sort of listen back to it, sort of being like, oh, could Man United do well here? And you're like, I think they could. I think they could.
But doesn't Clive Tydesley say like something about like they always score? Like, can they score here? They always score.
Yeah. Well, he says that. Okay, but this is where you're coming into a new part of the commentary, right? This is where you're coming into the greatest commentary ever in the history of sports. Put that on a thumbnail. But like, it is
question mark.
Could this be?
No, it is. It's if memory serves, and my memory has been helped here by watching the Manchester United treble VHS video approximately 340,000 times over the course of my life. Can Manchester United score? They always score.
And is this as they're taking the corner, or when is it?
Yeah, so can Manchester United score? They always score. The big goalie's coming up. Peter Schmeichel is forward. Can he get another in Europe? He's got one in Europe. Paul Beckham in towards Schmeichel. It's come to Dwight York. Cleared. Giggs with a shot. So that's approximately how far away it was from the... what was the question?
My next question was going to be, can you describe... can you describe the first goal, Jack?
Yeah, it's in towards Schmeichel. It came to Dwight York. It was cleared. Giggs had a shot and then Sheringham.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like noticeable is like Schmeichel definitely sort of creates this kind of like panic and...
he got the header. He got a touch. He wasn't a very good header.
In the Bayern Munich defence. And then it's like immediately after like they score this goal, like, and there's all this celebration. And I love when it pans over to the dugout and like Ferguson is like going crazy, and then immediately Steve McLaren, like the ultimate professional, is like grabbing him and he's doing like the footballer thing of, you know, like pointing to your head, just like switched on, guys, you know.
Sunday league.
Dangerous time you can see.
It is interesting seeing that, because I would always imagine that the dynamic there was that Ferguson could snap Steve McLaren like a dry twig, and actually to have Steve McLaren going up and being like, Fergie, fucking concentrate. It's kind of like weird, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a very funny dynamic. And then...
But Shields and I had a big... Sorry, go on.
Yeah, don't forget the whole name of the trophy. Debacle.
Yep. Shields and I had a big fist fight. So after the goal, Clive Tydesley goes, name on the trophy. And I thought that meant that he was saying... Bayern Munich had their name etched on the trophy, and now they're going to have it changed out.
They're going to scratch it out. Just a line through it.
Yeah.
I mean, we can turn that B into an M, maybe.
He's like asking about the engraver. What will the engravers do now? It's creating all sorts of problems.
Yeah, exactly. Just get super practical. But Shields, you had a slightly different attitude towards that line of commentary.
Well, yeah, he's calling it. He's called it. Man United are going to win it.
Yeah.
And he was bang on.
Because there's this season, like, they've just been like comeback after comeback of like late goals and...
Yeah, and I mean, we'll never know the right answer.
We do know.
It's one of those unanswerable questions that we'll forget about. It's not like he's ever given any interviews that I then had to, because I was so convinced I was right, man.
That's the worst. Is there a worse feeling in Unearthed than when you're convinced you're right in an argument, and then you Google it, and you have to explain, and you have the phone, and you have to explain that you were actually wrong.
You just all go do that thing where like, well, fair enough, mate. Yeah, it looks like...
I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it looks like you... I suppose, yeah, you might be right. In terms of worst feeling, maybe ask the Bayern Munich players 2 minutes later.
Well, what happens after that first corner goal? What happens then next, Jack?
Ron Atkinson makes a terrible joke.
What's the joke?
He goes, they must be playing defensive. Keeper's not coming up for this one. Thinks he's done enough. And then Tilsley just lets that hang in the air.
Like a bad fart.
Like a bad fart. Just sort of like, okay. Just sort of imagine just giving him the side eye being like, people are listening to this, Ron. Quite a lot of people. And yeah, just incredible. Incredible. Beckham in, Sheringham flick on. The two substitutes, just poetic. And it doesn't really get, you don't really get used to it as a United fan or as a recovering United fan, as I like to call myself. You still get the goosebumps, you still get the adrenaline.
Yeah,
I was up on my feet.
It's also just like watching it in real time, like how people, like how quickly the next goal is after the first one. I was like, they scored the first goal, they're celebrating, and then immediately like, oh, it's the corner again. They score again from this.
Yeah, I mean, watching that Alex Ferguson film, I think it's Never Give In, something like that. Yeah. The last kind of 5 few minutes of that film, it's just showing Ferguson at the sidelines.
Yeah, it doesn't even show the goals.
It's just one cut.
Yeah.
Like just one. Yeah, and it's crazy, and it's funny because Ferguson in the documentary is talking about how he's already going through in his head what he's going to say to the players about how close they've come and how proud he is, and then minutes later, it's just.
I forgot about that. That was such a brilliant bit of. That was such a brilliant bit of sort of filmmaking, that wasn't it? Because it does emphasize the time, just how.
And it would be like lessened if they like cut from the bit on him and then showed the goals. Rather, it's just like one cut on him.
Unbelievable, unbelievable.
Yeah. And then you have one of the all-time like last-minute team conceding a goal, like people on the ground pounding the earth.
Yeah, well, because the footage that I've looked at most recently when watching YouTube videos of this game, which happens quite a lot.
Homepage.
Yeah, there's again, it's uninterrupted coverage of the last 3 minutes from behind the goal. Or just sort of, it's actually between the right goalpost as the keeper sort of has it, and the right corner flag as the keeper looks at it, which is where Beckham takes both the corners. And what you miss in the television coverage is the referee going up to the Bayern Munich players and just going, "I'm sorry, you've got to play on," because they're all on the ground. They're all crying.
Yeah.
We saw it with that Ghanaian player, Kufuor. That was the iconic image of him sort of like crying his eyes out and going, "Oh fuck!" They were all on the ground, leaning against the goalpost, and just went.
Canada's leaving against the goalpost.
They are dead. Their legs are gone. They have no heart to get up, and then, mate. But I mean, I don't blame them. It's the most incredible sporting moment ever at me, and then
that footage you're talking about on the sidelines is incredible. Like you can hear the players. I think they've got the audio, and it's like you're almost in the huddle. The celebration is amazing
because Solskjaer celebrates right in front of it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. And then they actually, because I had always assumed like that was like the last kick of the game, but they kick off.
They have a kick off. They have a route one ball.
What they've been doing for 90 minutes.
It could have happened. I don't know.
Could have scored. Jancker bicycle kick
from the halfway line.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I have this. So apparently, the game's ending was so unexpected that UEFA president Lennart Johansson had left his seat in the stands before Sheringham's equaliser to make his way down to the pitch to present the European Cup trophy, which was already decorated with Bayern ribbons. Mm-hmm. When emerging from the tunnel at the final whistle, he was stunned, and he later said, "I can't believe it. The winners are crying and the losers are dancing."
I love that. I love it. I love putting the wrong colours on. Why is that so pleasing to me?
But do they have the wrong colours in the pictures? Like surely they had time to change the ribbons, did they?
It would certainly be easier than to try and for the etchers to try and convince everyone that Manchester United is spelt with a silent B.
And to this day, if you look at the Champions League trophy, it just has a line across where it's like Bayern Munich, and then he stops.
As Clive Tydesley said, name on the trophy. You're going to have to erase it.
I heard this anecdote from Jonathan Wilson, like the British football journalist.
Loves Man United.
So apparently
he doesn't.
After this game, Matthias went to play in New York for like this team called the New York Metro Stars, and Wilson went out to cover one of the games, and like Matthias was berating like one of the linesmen for like 5 minutes, just like he was like extremely angry. And this is like 3 months after the Champions League final.
Yep.
And then afterwards, because it's America, the journalists can go into the dressing room afterwards and like ask them questions. And he goes there, and there's this American journalist there, and he asks him, it's like, Lothar, is this the angriest you've ever been on the football pitch? And Lothar Matthias doesn't even answer. He just like turns around and walks into the shower.
PTSD. Well, one thing I didn't realise before rewatching the game is that for him they were all talking about this is the last piece of his career puzzle.
Yes, this is one last trophy.
He's won everything else, never won the Champions League, and this is his chance. But also that Bayern Munich were on an unprecedented treble. Both sides. It would have been, which again just makes the most incredible finish even more incredible. That it was just the stakes were even more even higher than in a normal Champions League final. Mad.
No, and also it looks great in like the stadium. It's like in the new camp, and like they're both fans there and stuff.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, Alex, do you have anything else you want to add to what has already been discussed on the 1999 Champions League final?
Dare I spark the debate about this eclipsing the Liverpool AC Milan final in Istanbul?
I will fan those flames. Well, is there even an argument? Is there even an argument that this is better?
I think so.
Do you reckon? State your case.
Okay. Well, okay. So in the first half, Liverpool are they look like a third division team playing against AC Milan. Mm-hmm. Like they're being absolutely wiped to the floor. Whereas at least with this game, it feels like the teams are relatively even. And for them to come out in the second half and turn around a 3-goal lead against a team who have absolutely dominated them, who has far better players, who looks like far more cohesive, who is like don't have a chance, and then for them to turn it around and make it to 3-3, and then after they make it to 3-3, they proceed to get battered again for close to another hour.
Yeah, it's just not as good though.
Whereas this is just two poxy corners.
No, but I mean,
silly old game. Poxy corners.
Sending the keeper up.
But like, I mean, we were talking a bit about it. Well, watching it, weren't we, Shields? About like, they had a half. They had a half.
10 minutes. No, it's yeah. Yeah. So, well, the other thing I wanted to say was, I think it's been talked about just now with Ancelotti and winning 4 titles, European Cups, and space between that. Thinking about Ferguson winning like European silverware back in '82.
Yeah.
Then doing it through with different teams, through different generations, all the way up to, what was it, 2008, 2009?
Yeah,
he won another one?
Yeah, so
I think it's just...
I read this week that... Oh, I hope I've got this fact right. It's always bad when you have like a half-remembered football fact and you're on a football podcast saying it. But I remember this week that Ferguson is the only British manager to beat Real Madrid in a European...
I think he's the last
Cup final, and it was with Aberdeen.
With Aberdeen was the last team to beat Real Madrid in a European final.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think.
And Ferguson did it. It was crazy.
Who did Man United win in? Like, who did Man United beat in '68? It might have been. That might have been Real Madrid. There's a fact in there. Just work around it.
Who won the Champions League? I can tell you, Jack, that they beat Benfica in 1998.
Of course they beat Benfica. Yeah, shut up.
On the tip of your tongue.
I think Ferguson's... I think Ferguson... Thumbnail this. Incredible fact.
Ferguson, not decent coach.
He's not bad, you know. He's Ferguson.
Didn't do badly for himself.
I think he's the only manager to beat Real Madrid. Only British manager to beat Real Madrid in the final. Yeah, I'm going to say with that.
Okay. Well, if that's wrong, at Jack Gardner.
Jack Gardner 93.
Come at me with your football facts. All right, lads. If there's nothing else you want to add to this greatest question mark ever Champions League final.
I will say one last thing, which is a good way to end it. In the greatest last 3 minutes of a football game ever, I think one of the greatest football quotes ever. They showed it in the Ferguson documentary where they dragged him down the tunnel in that interview that shouldn't have been given. It was just, but he came up with the best football quote ever, I think, which is just they were like, "How do you feel? You've just done it." And he just went, "Football, bloody hell."
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Perfectly summed up.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for joining us today, Alex.
Thanks very much.
And thanks a lot to Jack for everything.
Yeah. Any more half-remembered facts? I'll just pop them in the comments.
Commiserations about the quiz as well. So.
Yeah,
unlucky. United superfan.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know about the intricacies of Peter Schmeichel's burnt dick. I'm sorry that hotel football wasn't a good enough answer.
What did you call the hotel?
Football hotel.
No.
I see. I just got it wrong there.
Hotel to football is something ridiculous.
Hotel to football.
That's how they. Yeah. That's how they would.
All right,
say
guys. Thanks a lot for listening, and join us again on the next episode where we have more half-baked football facts. Bye bye.
Sports Social Podcast Network.